understand that they can't possibly be zogging her now. Our arrangement with the Italians is very clear. Alejandra will be bunking with a family with a daughter her age, and no sons. I have met the daughter myself and found her most agreeable and kind. I suspect that she and Alejandra will get along very well. And yes, the Italians understand that Alejandra is not to be considered a prospect for marriage until she comes of age. When that time comes, she is not to be coerced into a relationship or choice. She will move at her own pace. The decision of who and when to marry is entirely her own. Knowing Alejandra, I suspect she will have her pick of bachelors. Of course, Honda would have her pick, Victor thought. Any suitor with an eye for beauty, both physical and in every other respect, would immediately see the life of happiness that awaited him with Honda at his side. Victor had known that for years. Anyone who spent 5 minutes with Honda would know she would one day make an attractive bride. Everything that men hoped for in a companion was there. A brilliant mind, a kind disposition, an unbreakable devotion to family. And until this moment Victor hadn't considered this opinion of her anything other than intelligent observation. Now, however, he could detect another sentiment buried within it. Envy. Envy for the man lucky enough to have her. It was funny, really. The feelings he had harbored all along for Alejandra were like emotions filed away in a mismarked folder. They had always been there. He had just given them a different name. Now the truth of them was glaringly obvious. A long friendship had slowly evolved into something else. It hadn't fully developed and resulted in any action, but its course was set. It was as if the boundary between friendship and love was so thin and imperceptible that one could cross it without even knowing it was there. The Italians can never know the real reason why Alejandra is leaving, said Victor. They can't know that she was moving toward an unacceptable relationship that would forever taint her and drive off potential suitors. He must have told them some invented reason. Families don't just send off their 16-year-old daughters. The Italians believe that Alejandra is going early so that she may have time to adapt to being away from her family and thus avoid the homesickness that plagued so many zogged brides, said Concepcion. Such emotions, however natural, can put a strain on a young marriage, and we have explained to the Italians our desire to avoid it. It was a smart cover story. Homesickness happened. Victor had seen it. Suman, a bride that had come to El Cavador a few years ago to marry Victor's uncle Lonzo, had spent the first weeks of their marriage crying her eyes out in her room, bemoaning the loss of her Korean family. She had come willingly. No zogging is a forced marriage. But homesickness had crept in, and her constant weeping had really gotten to Victor. It made him feel like an accomplice in a kidnapping or rape. But what could be done? There could be no divorce or annulment. Her family was already millions of miles away. Eventually she had come around, but the whole experience had been a burden for everyone. What assurance do we have that the Italians will abide by these conditions? Victor asked. Alejandra isn't going alone. Faron is going with her. Again this was wise. Faron had come to the family late in his teens, when the family rescued him and his mother from a derelict mining ship after pirates had stripped it and left them to die. The mother did not live long, and Faron, though he was hard-working and grateful, had never fully become part of the family. Faron is a good miner, Victor. He's been waiting for an opportunity to get on with a bigger clan. He wants to be piloting his own digger someday. He won't accomplish that here. This is Faron's choice. He'll watch over Alejandra and see to it that her needs are met, not as a guardian, but as a protector and counselor. If any suitor tries to approach Alejandra too soon, Faron will remind him of his place. Victor had no doubt of that. Farron was big and well-muscled. He would defend Honda as his own sister should the occasion ever require it, which it probably never would. The Italians weren't stupid enough to threaten their own reputation and alienate themselves from other families. Zogging was crucial to mixing up the gene pool. Every family upheld the practice as sacrosanct. To marry well was to preserve the family and build the clan. True, there were belters who dogged and married only within their own clan, but these were considered the lowliest of low class, and were alienated from everyone else, rarely able to find families willing to trade goods with them. No, in all likelihood Honda would be given all the luxury and protection the Italians could afford. Farron was only a formality. "It's an ideal situation," said Concepcion. "It works out well for everyone. Now, if you hurry, you can catch her at the airlock. I'm sure she would like to say goodbye." Victor was surprised. "But I can't possibly see her off." "But you are the person she will most want to say goodbye to." "Which is exactly why I can't go," said Victor. "The Italians will be there. They might catch some sign of special emotion at our parting. Alejandra and I never noticed that we were conveying any emotions to each other at all, yet apparently we were, or you never would have felt the need to hold a council, so we might reveal something that we don't detect but everyone else does. And the Italians are sharp and suspicious. They made me take the HVAC booster apart 3 times before they would believe that it works. No. As much as I would love to say goodbye to Alejandra, it would only put her at risk. They can never suspect that there was ever anything between us. I appreciate you coming to me beforehand and trusting me enough to give me the opportunity, but you must understand why I respectfully decline." Concepcion smiled sadly. "Your reasoning is clear, Victor, but I also know the pain behind it. And the pain your decision will bring to Alejandra." She sighed, crossed her arms, and examined him a moment. "You don't disappoint me, Victor. You're the man I always hoped you would grow to be. Now I just hope that you will forgive us for what we have done to you and your dear friend." "There is nothing to forgive, Concepcion. I'm the one who needs forgiveness."